Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Boys podcast.
Hi, kids.
Okay,
It's me.
We know, sadly.
Oh. I'm triggered.
Not as triggered as I am from this news today, but we'll get into that in a little bit. For now,
Yes, ma'am.
I am still Samuel. I haven't gotten my name legally changed yet.
And I am Leroy Jenkins.
Thank you, Leroy, for joining us. Leroy's our guest on the podcast today.
Sadly, Kenny couldn't make it today.
Yeah, he got tased and pepper sprayed, so that's too bad.
He's dead.
Yeah. All right. So, Kenny, what's new with you? What do you want? Or sorry, Leroy. What's new with you? Anything you want to get off your chest right off the bat?
Well, it all started back when I was at the ripe age of 14 years old.
Okay. Nope. We're gonna save that for a different podcast. Nope. I'm cutting you off right there.
I went to McDonald's for the last time. I ate a Big Mac, and it clogged my arteries, and I had a fucking heart attack.
I mean, I know that's a lie, but
I'm still here.
Well, you're Leroy, so Kenny's not here. All that's left is Leroy. Okay, so this has been a very avant-garde start, I would say. Here's a topic that I thought we could talk about today. So something that's blowing up in the gaming industry right now is that Bungie, the creators of Destiny, originally had a 10-year plan partnership with Activision to publish games. Thank you for that dramatic effect. But
You're welcome.
Yes, but Bungie yesterday announced that they are severing their partnership with Activision, and the interesting thing is that this is not the first time that Bungie Studios has gotten a divorce from like a parent company, because before they made Destiny, Bungie Studios were the people who made Halo. You know what Halo is, right?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I love Halo,
Yes.
bro.
So they made the first couple of Halos, but then they left Microsoft, went on their own, developed Destiny, and in order to get Destiny published, they needed Activision, or like a bigger company, to do the marketing, the PR, all that fun stuff to get the game out into the public. And I'm not going to credit any sources purely because I'm too lazy to figure out who they were, but if you just Google like Bungie or Activision, I'm sure you'll see all the reports of it anyway. So there's a lot to this, so much in fact that I'm trying to figure out what to say first and how this is really just going to change the gaming industry a lot. So of course, well, maybe you didn't know this, but I'm not sure actually what I'm talking about anymore. Let's just start here. So
Right.
So from the get-go with their partnership, here's just a little history. Bungie and Activision did not get along at all. Destiny 1 was a train wreck at the beginning.
You're welcome.
And then towards the end of its life, they started implementing microtransactions into the game, which kind of made the community upset. And then it turned out that Destiny 1 was actually rebooted like a year before it launched, because I've heard rumors that Activision like was very unhappy with the original script, or like they fired writers and whatnot. But let's fast forward to Destiny 2. When that came out, it was better than Destiny 1 was when it first launched, except you could tell that it was very rushed. And then it turned out that game had been rebooted a year and a half before it launched too, because of troubles with Activision intervening again. And in Destiny 2, there was a lot more microtransactions, and these ones actually affected gameplay a little bit, which really made people mad. And there was a whole shabacle. Is that a word? Is shabacle
I
a
think
word?
so. I think shabacle is a word.
There's a whole shabacle where XP gains were being throttled, and XP is the thing that like got you cosmetic stuff and things that normally you would need they're microtransactions, so you'd have to pay for it. And then the community kind of called them out about that, and this past fall they released a big DLC for the game called Forsaken, and they really kind of went back on microtransactions. They kind of toned down their store and all that stuff, and they started to pander more towards the hardcore audience, and Activision was very upset with them. They came out and they said that that the new DLC had underperformed, even though I saw reports saying that DLC was like the highest grossing like thing on the PlayStation Store for the month of September when it came out, and that. And so here this is where you can like publicly see the rift between Activision, the publisher, and the developer Bungie, because Activision comes out, they say, we're not happy with the way that this game is selling. We need to find new routes in order to monetize the consumers. And then at the same time, you have Luke Smith, who's one of the heads of Bungie. He comes out and he tweets, we're happy with the way that Forsaken has been, and we're going to continue to pander towards hardcore audiences like this. And that was the first time you could really publicly see a rift between the two of them. And a few months ago, I don't remember exactly where it was, but Bungie took a $100 million investment from a Chinese company called NetEase to create a new IP. And let's see. I mean, I guess we can just skip forward now to yesterday, when out of the blue on the Bungie forum they come out with the topic. It's titled Our Destiny, and it basically states that, you know, they're glad that they got to work with Activision for the last 8 years. It was supposed to be a 10-year contract, but long story short, Bungie is severing their ties from Activision, which is really weird because, again, it was a contract. And those are very expensive to get out of. They say that it was mutual.
Why do you have to pay to get out of your own contract?
Because, well, I mean, it's a contract. Like, they legally signed that they would work under Activision for 10 years.
So they gotta pay back what, like they gotta pay back what they would have made for the remainder of their contract.
It really depends.
How does that work?
So okay, so if you have I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, I don't know what an internet supplier would be. There's like Dish, Charter, Time Warner Cable, Comcast, all those things. A lot of those require you to sign into a contract for, say, 12 months. So you have to have our service and pay for it for 12 months. And then there'll be a stipulation in the contract where if you break this off early, you have to pay us like $500 or so-and-so amount of dollars. And so Bungie basically signed into a contract, but instead of like 12 months for that, it was a 10-year contract with Activision as the publisher. And Activision had the stipulation that there had to be either a game or a major expansion released every year, which that's another thing to get into because that was really hard. But basically, it seems like improbable, but the story that Activision and Bungie are trying to tell is that this was a mutual decision to split off from each other. So I'm not really sure if anybody had to pay anybody yet. I mean, the story is kind of still relatively new, but this type of thing is really unheard of, to break off of a contract early with a developer that you were supposed to stay with for
10 years.
10 years, and they stayed with them
That's-
for 8.
But they couldn't like stay for 2 more years. Like, come on, guys.
Here's the thing. They definitely could have, but there was so much strain. I think the guy's name was Jason Schreier with Kotaku. He reported that when the employees at Bungie got the news that they were splitting off from Division, they started cheering and like popping bottles of champagne. So you can
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell that these guys were hyped to get away from Activision because so this is my theory. I kind of gotten into it before, but I think Activision was really cramping the developer's style. I told you how like it got rebooted a year and a half before it came out for both games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that could be Activision's fault. There's also a thing that microtransactions are in the game, and those were pretty predatory. A lot of people in the community blamed Activision for that too. And so now that Activision's out of the picture, the community can no longer blame Activision for the faults with the game. Because before this split off happened, everything that was wrong with the game, a lot of people would equate to Activision. Because another thing that they did was, in the 10-year contract, they were supposed to release a game every other year. And in those in-between years, there was supposed to be a major expansion. Well, that never worked out because I don't know exactly how big Bungie Studios is, but they do not have the manpower to get that much content out, let alone it being good content.
Yeah.
Because, well...
So why the initial game was always trash.
So I'll run you through a timeline here about... You can kind of see how rushed it was. So there's a reboot before Destiny 1 came out, 2013. So the game launches... Destiny 1 Vanilla launches fall of 2014. It's half-baked. People don't really like it. And then a couple months after, they released their first expansion, The Dark Below. Still sucks. Not that good. A couple months later, DLC 2 House of Wolves comes out. A little better, but still, you can clearly see it was rushed. And then they had... how'd that work? And then in 2015, the expansion, The Taken King, came out. That was a lot more money, but they had more time to develop it. It was a lot better. And in 2016, so this is 2 years after the first game launched, in 2016, Destiny 2 was supposed to launch according to the planner. Well, that didn't happen. They weren't able to get the game out on time, so they put another DLC out that didn't do very well. We later find out that Destiny 2 wasn't put in 2016 because it was rebooted a year and a half before it was supposed to come out. So Destiny 2 comes out late in 2017, and that's half-baked. And then 2 more DLCs came out for that were bad. And then they switched the tables to pander to hardcore audiences in Forsaken, which minimized the player base and like kind of made them not lose money, but they didn't get as much money as they would have if they had kept going the route that they had been.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, then Activision was pissed off at them for doing that, and they severed their ties with that.
They're happily divorced.
Exactly. And so now another interesting thing about 200 times in this podcast.
All right,
so
I'm gonna start counting.
Start the counter. So I don't know what exact year it was. I've never really had an Xbox or anything, but when Bungie was still a studio under Microsoft, and they made Halo,
best game, bro.
They separated from each other, but Microsoft was able to retain the IP or the property of Halo. So that means that Microsoft was in control of whatever they could do with Halo, and Bungie was just they had
making the game. They were there as Microsoft's pawns to make a game, basically.
They were, But when they split up, Bungie was legally binded to not be able to touch anything with Halo again.
That's gay.
Because it was in the split up that Microsoft kept the Halo franchise under their domain, and they took it over to 343 Studios, I want to say. And that studio was continuing to make Halo. So Bungie basically left with nothing but the clothes on their back. And then they built Destiny from the ground up. And they needed traction to get this game out. So they partnered with Activision to get the game out. And then, well, you know what happened there. And now they're divorcing from Activision. But the good news is that Activision, for some reason, is not keeping the IP to themselves. Rather, they're going to be transferring the publishing rights over to Bungie so that they can become technically an indie studio.
I mean, at least Activision's not being an ass like Microsoft was.
Well,
dude, I would love to play Halo on a PS4, man. I don't want to buy an Xbox to play Halo.
I mean, that original Xbox One probably isn't very much money now if you buy it like used at GameStop. It's probably only a little under $100.
Yeah,
don't
fuck
quote
that.
me on that. Yeah, I know.
That's $100 too much.
So now, interestingly, Bungie is going to be able to self-publish their game, which is a very hard thing to do. But keep in mind that they have that $100 million investment from that Chinese company that I said before.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have been setting this up like the whole time to move away from Activision.
Those sneaky guys.
Another side bit of information to know is that Destiny 2 is on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. But on PC, it's on Battle.net, which is Blizzard's thing. They're the dudes who made Overwatch. Mm-hmm. So it runs on their website. And the problem is that Blizzard is owned by Activision.
Oh, so there might
but
be problems
they said
with
that
then on the,
so this game Destiny 2 is still going to be able to run on Battle.net, but in the future they're not really sure how they're going to I guess put out the PC version. And another problem with the PC version is that I have no format to how I'm saying this. I'm just like listing. This is basically a run-on sentence for 18 minutes right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, grammar's good.
I failed grammar, so
yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing, guy.
All right, I'll continue the rant.
I won't fail you.
So, when Destiny 1 was being made, that was only on PS4 and Xbox. So they didn't have to worry about making one for the PC or a version for that or anything. But with Destiny 2, they did go to PC. So Activision lent out two studios, High Moon Studios and Vicarious Visions. They used to make games of their own. But those two companies were tasked with building the PC version of Destiny 2, which would run a bit differently than like on consoles and that, because on PC it's uncapped frame rate, 4K, whatnot, and on consoles it's locked at 30 FPS, 1080p, unless you have an Xbox One X and that. But the problem now is that those two companies are owned by Activision. So while on one hand it's a good thing that Bungie's getting free out of this contract for creative differences, they can make whatever they want now and nobody can say you can't do that, they have nowhere near enough manpower to make Destiny 3 for consoles and PC, because unless they find somebody else to make the PC port, because right now they can't. High Moon and Vicarious Visions, they can't use them anymore unless Activision would let them use them, which I highly doubt. I don't see why they would do that.
Well, I mean, I don't see why Activision wouldn't let them use it, you know?
So yeah, you want me to keep going? Did you die?
Because Your mic kind of cut out there a little bit, but like my point is like if they let them keep the rights to Destiny, why wouldn't they let them also use the assets to help them out? Because even though it is a competitive world out there in gaming, sometimes you got to help each other out, even if you guys are competitors.
That's a really good point, but I mean, it's not like getting cheated on. I guess that would be a bit too far, but I'll bring up another point. There's definitely a lot of bad blood between Activision and Bungie, because I told you before the tweet that the guy sent out about we're happy with the game. They said that right after Activision said that they were unhappy with it, and then what else was there? Yeah, I can't remember. I'll bring up another example though. So right after the announcement was made that they were splitting up, the same dude, Luke Smith, he was the head at Bungie, he tweets out a phrase from Destiny 1, which is "Guardians make their own fate," which is a callback to a thing back then. Kind of just saying, it's kind of just like a big F you to Activision, basically, or the ultimate flex, I guess you could say.
Weird flex, but
weird flex, but okay. So it's like, but if Activision is really unhappy with Bungie and they don't see them financially viable, I just don't see why they would lend out their their own money in that to help out Bungie, who basically divorced them.
Yeah.
It's like if you're married and your wife divorces you, you gotta
pay an alimony.
Are you gonna pay extra child support than you have to?
No, I probably wouldn't.
And I mean, Activision is super greedy. Like, did you hear about the Call of Duty red dot thing?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so on Black Ops 4, they're basically charging you money to get a red dot reticle on your screen.
Oh my gosh. That's it's retarded. It's literally in every other fucking game.
Well, the only thing that Activision basically cares about was money. And because Bungie said that they weren't, because Bungie was getting called out so much by the community for having microtransactions in the game, they backed off of that. And Activision, that's like the opposite of what Activision wants, because Activision says that people are under-monetized as it is right now. So it's all about money, money, money with them.
How about, hey, Activision, how about you guys just make a good game? How about that, okay?
They don't make games, though. Again, like I said, they just publish them.
How about you let the people make a good game and not worry about money? Because screw you, Activision.
I want you to just Google quick. Look at Activision stock. Just Google Activision stock. It is
all right.
It is crazy just how much it's dropped.
Activision. How do I spell that? Got it. Never mind. Got it. Holy moly! I didn't even have to type it in all the way. It's Activision stock. It 46.54. It dropped. It dropped a whole four from.
Look at the 6-month view.
A whole 9.37%. 6-month review.
6-month review.
No, I don't. Unless I'm not looking at the right. No, I'm looking at the right thing.
You're looking at Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it dropped that much. Just gonna be honest.
What? Are you? I don't know if you're looking.
46.
46.54, but there was a 46. Good time where it was above 80 in October.
Yeah. Well.
Their stock is basically worth half of what it was less than like 3 months ago. That's not good, like at all.
Oh wait, 1 day, 5 days, 6 months. Here we go. Okay, got it. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, in October. I got it. I figured it out. I was on 1 day.
It's all right.
1 day view.
It's okay.
I'm an idiot. Leroy Jenkins is dumb. Yeah, 83, and then it just drops down to 40.
Yeah. So, like Activision is now widely regarded as just being hated, basically as much as EA, because you know how. Go on.
It's on the rise again, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it'll keep going up.
It's at 51 right now.
But so, just to show you how much money Activision, I don't know if you'd say losing out on. So, when Destiny as a project started again, it was supposed to be 10 years. Activision they threw $500 million into the ring to make the game.
Mm-hmm.
They earned $500 million back on the first day of sales for Destiny 1 Vanilla.
Jeez.
And that's not to mention how every expansion after that was either it varied from 20 to basically $100 each expansion.
Jesus.
And then there's the second game too, which again, like I said, it was the top grossing game on like the PlayStation Store in September, and they're still not satisfied with it. They still say it underperformed commercially.
Well, Activision is the one who does the ads for it, right?
I mean,
so
yeah,
if it underperforms commercially, that's on Activision, not Bungie.
Well, they see it as the game isn't like it's not monetized enough. Like when I said before that they used to go on.
Microtransactions in games are retarded.
They don't think so. They love them.
Like I get it, like microtransactions on the side for like
free to play games,
just random stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and free to play games. But like when I buy a console game and it's like it interrupts the story because I have to pay to continue, it makes me mad, and I don't ever want to play that game again.
It's not the microtransactions in the game were never at a point where like it really affected gameplay, but there was a lot of like lore items and like cosmetics, and I mean there were some gameplay like modifications in that were exclusively microtransactions, so you couldn't even earn them via gameplay. You could only buy them.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when you could go to the store and buy a game and you wouldn't have to do all these microtransactions to get the full game.
Yeah, that was before even DLCs and that were a thing.
Yeah, back in the good old days.
I mean
DLC is actually I actually like DLC, but
I like DLC when it isn't necessary to the story in the first place, but it just adds to it.
Yeah,
something that just came out a couple days ago. I haven't read up on it fully, but I mean, we can
like
say
the Spider-Man PS4 DLC.
Well, there's that, but God of War was
amazing.
originally supposed to have DLC, and the main man himself, Cory Barlog, was like, he said that he'd rather save it for a second game, and that what you got day one is what you get, like, until the next game comes out. He was a big believer in that philosophy.
Yeah, it's what I like. When I go to play a game, I expect to get the full game and not have to pay for more.
So now the question comes up about, well, I don't know. Knowing that Activision has nothing to do with Bungie or Destiny anymore, and that they're going to be completely independent of all of that, on a scale of 1 to 10, how willing would you be to go into Destiny 3 when they're independent?
Honestly, if they can make, like you said that the first two were half baked when they first came out.
Yeah, for sure.
If Bungie can make like a fully baked Destiny game, I would definitely buy it and give it a playthrough. I'd give Bungie a chance by themselves to do good and make a really good game. I'd play it. And
the thing about that is that the community has to realize that a big reason why these games were half-baked was because of that every fall schedule that Activision had them stick to, where they were contractually obligated to put out a big piece of content every fall no matter what. And they did that, and you could just see how much it suffered because of that.
Yeah.
So if they take their time, like
since they run themselves, they don't have to make a deadline.
Exactly. They're their own boss now.
They can take their time with the game and make it perfect.
They could take 5 years if they really wanted to. They shouldn't, but they could.
They probably shouldn't, but they could. Yeah, I'd say maybe like two years at most, just to like perfect it and shit.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, as a player of those games, I would rather bide my time with no content to get good content than to constantly have mediocre stuff like what's basically happening now.
Yeah,
I guess
100%.
Another question that came up that people are debating, which I feel like is a really dumb one, is should Bungie just keep Destiny 2 and keep building onto it like World of Warcraft or something like that? And I honestly believe like no, they shouldn't, because Destiny 2 is still an Activision published game. Like they still have a say in it. I feel like they need to get as far away from this game as possible to create a new one. And maybe with the third one they can, I don't know, do whatever they want to, I guess.
I mean, they could reboot it in the third one. Just completely start over.
They could. And then we don't even know when that game's going to come out because, again, like I said before, they have a $100 million investment from a Chinese company to create a new game. That might come out first. And then Destiny 3 might come out.
Yeah.
But I feel like their team is stretched way too thin. Unless with the $100 million investment, they hire a lot more people.
They could do that. They should do that.
So, I mean, I guess in the end, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. Pros being they're in complete control creatively about what the game can be. They can make their own timelines, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the cons...
It's the best part of being your own boss.
Yeah, the cons are that they have nowhere near enough manpower, I don't think, to do things as they have been, because they lost out on basically the two companies that built their PC port for the game, and they're not going to have that anymore.
They'll find a way.
And I mean, self-publishing a game is really hard to do too. But I think that Bungie's a big enough name that it shouldn't be too hard to get the word out there.
Yeah, they'll still do well on their own. Either that or they'll find somewhere else to go. But if they take the route of going on their own,
yeah,
they'll do good.
They should. I heard this from a guy who heard it from another guy who basically said, Bungie, this is your second divorce. You should stay single for a while, rebuild your pride, and then get back into the game. They should not jump to another company right away.
I think they'll do perfect by themselves.
I mean, I hope so. And now after this, there's talk about Blizzard possibly leaving Activision too, which would really just screw them over then, because Activision, they would have Call of Duty, or they'd have Call of Duty, and I don't know, there's probably a couple other games out there, but
Call of Duty is their main big one that everybody knows.
Yeah, none that make enough money.
They'd only have that.
Yeah, that make enough money too. So, I mean, who knows? You don't really.
Activision needs to step up their game and stop treating their employees like crap.
Yeah, I mean they fired their CFO, CEO, a bunch of different times in the last year because they've been underperforming and whatnot. But so something that is to me a bit disconcerting is that after this whole separation thing was announced, Phil Spencer, which is the spokesman of Xbox, said that he is happy and looking forward to working with Bungie again, which I as it stood right now, Bungie's deal with Activision also gave PlayStation a boon where Destiny would give exclusives to PlayStation for a year, which I mean, even though I have PlayStation, I've never really been a fan of. It's not really fair to the other people. But I'm hoping that they don't go the opposite way and start giving exclusives to Xbox now, because that would be just one step or two steps forward, one step back again.
Yeah.
So this has been a bit backwards how I've gone about explaining this. So
explain that.
So in order to completely do this 100% backwards, I'll end this by telling you word for word the official statement that Bungie came out with yesterday. So,
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
It's titled Our Destiny. When we first launched our partnership with Activision in 2010, the gaming industry was in a pretty different place. As an independent studio setting out to build a brand new experience, we wanted a partner willing to take a big leap of faith with us. We had a vision for Destiny that we believed in, but to launch a game of that magnitude, we needed the support of an established publishing partner. With Activision, we created something special. To date, Destiny has delivered a combination of over 50 million games and expansions to all players all around the world. Most importantly, we've witnessed a remarkable community, blah, 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 blah. We have enjoyed a successful 8-year run and would like to thank Activision for their partnership. Let's see. We look forward to the future. Why does this keep going away now? Hold on. Having technical difficulties already.
Technical difficulties. We interrupt your scheduled programming to give you this news.
So as they say, we're excited to announce plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights for Destiny to Bungie. With our remarkable community, we are ready to publish on our own, while Activision will increase their focus on their own IP projects. The process is already underway. With Forsaken, we've learned, listened, and leaned into what we believe our players want from a great Destiny experience. Rest assured, there's more of that on the way. We'll continue to deliver the existing roadmap. Thank you so much for your continued support. Our success is owed in no small part to the incredible community of players who have graced our worlds with light and life. We know self-publishing won't be easy, and there's still much for us to learn as we grow to be an independent global studio. But we see unbound potentials and opportunities in Destiny. We know that there are new adventures that await us on new worlds filled with mystery, adventure, hope, and hope. Well, we hope you'll join us there. See you, Starside Bungie Studios. So from that, it sounds like this was a very mutual breakup, but it's a lot of people behind the scenes. Like we're pretty sure that this was a long time coming. They've had issues from the get-go with Activision, so it was time to separate for the best. It's time.
That's pretty wild.
So yeah, the future of everything is basically unknown right now. That's all I've got.
God bless.
Yes?
God bless Activision.
Okay, no, we're not gonna bless those people.
Okay, God don't bless Activision.
There we go.
God bless Bungie and its endeavors. Right. Honestly, I think they're gonna do good, man. If they make a really good Destiny 3, I will buy that right away, man. No doubt. I will buy that as soon as it hits shelves. Because I was not a big fan of the first game. Yeah, I didn't even play the second one.
You didn't even get through the first one.
Yeah, okay. There's just way too much, you know. It was kind of boring.
It's one of those things where it's hard to, if you've never played it, to go back and play them because it's really built as a live experience, I guess. Where like there should be time between each expansion rather than just marathoning through it.
Yeah, like we tried to do.
But yeah.
We got all the way up to whatever the last
Yeah?
one's called. I can't even remember.
What?
The Iron. What's it? The Iron King, whatever it is. I can't.
There's the Taken King and the Rise of Iron. You kind of mix both of them together.
Yeah, we got to the Rise of Iron. We didn't start that one, but yeah, that's the one.
Let's do that right now.
No.
I mean,
We could.
it's not that bad.
If I recall, I still had to like level up like 4 more levels before we could start the Rise of Iron.
You might be right. I don't know. I'd be there, but we won't talk about that. So it's. I doubt that anybody from Bungie is listening, but as somebody who's been here since almost day one, I have a couple pieces of advice that I'm sure you won't listen to because I'm just one dude. When it comes to microtransactions, I think that it will be necessary for them to have it in the game because they don't have that big cash money that Activision was supplying to them. But I think they really need to find a place. I think they're at a very good place right now where it's no longer predatory in the sense that your XP is throttled. Everything that you can buy in the store, you can earn relatively easy in gameplay, except for like a couple items, I think. But I wouldn't be too upset if they keep a store, I guess, because I mean they need to make money somehow.
Yeah, every game has like a store like that where you can use microtransactions to get like extra stuff that is harder to get in the game.
Yeah,
you just gotta.
Yeah.
That's understandable. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I just don't go back to the way that it was last year where like it was impossible to earn the things in the game basically and whatnot, and I don't know. Take your time. Don't worry about what people say about content drought because it's always going to be harder to create enough content for a player. Well, a player will always get through content quicker than it can be made. Yeah. That's always how it's going to be for a game like this, no matter basically how many people they have.
That's a true statement right there, bud.
And I mean, I guess they have to find their own path too. I mean, they can do whatever they want now, really.
They got it.
All right. Anything else you want to add to this story? Because that's basically it for me.
Well, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast.
I was going to go into another topic, actually, if you don't mind.
All right, were we? All right.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Let's go on too.
This is it's lighthearted, but it's kind of connected to the last story. So Destiny's going to have a giant competitor, apparently, in the form of Anthem. And Anthem, when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, wow, this is just a clear ripoff of Destiny because it has to do with people in the last safe city on Earth with a wall, and there's aliens on the outside, and it's a sci-fi shooter. Except Anthem actually looks a bit different. It's third person, and they have like you know what exosuits are, right?
Yeah.
They have like 4 different classes of exosuits versus where like Destiny has Guardians. There's like in Anthem there's a Colossus, which is like a tanky dude. There's an Interceptor, which is a guy that flies around everywhere like a bee. There's a Ranger, who's like the jack of all trades, and then there's like a Storm class, which is you like float all the time. But the thing is that Anthem is going to be at least at launch strictly PvE, which is player versus environment. You know what that means?
Yeah. So
no multiplayer. It's all you can play it by yourself, but it's also co-op.
Single player games are the best games.
We know. I mean, single player game, one best game of 2018 and 2017. That was Breath of the Wild.
Who was it? EA said single player games were dying?
Yeah, they did. That live service games are the way to go now. And we see how Battlefield 5 worked out for them. They said
God.
people criticized them, and they said either buy it or don't buy it. And guess what? People did not buy it.
Did not buy it.
They did not have it. I think that we should, or after this, I'll have you, like, we should look at some trailers for Anthem and that, because I think that it would be a really great playthrough on the channel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's a deal.
I would say you as a Colossus, because you kind of...
I don't believe in tactics. I just run in and wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
That would be...
That's how I am in real war, too.
Good to know. Take out those Nazis with an exosuit.
I got a good story to tell you after this, too, about what happened today during training.
You want to tell it?
It can't get put on the internet because it's training.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, that's why I couldn't post the video of me getting tased either.
Really?
Because it's training.
Wow, that's dumb.
So that's why I had to send it individually to people.
Yeah, as if Russia's gonna steal our secrets off of a video of you singing and getting tased.
Singing a song and getting tased, yeah.
Singing a song. Can you at least like play the audio of it over it, or no? Can you not even do that?
I mean, hey, what's the worst they're gonna do? Fire me?
Deal. If you want to,
I'll be a civilian again.
It's up to you. If you want to look for that, I'll talk while you do that, or else we don't have to do that if you don't want to.
I got it right here.
All right, here he goes, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kenny getting tased. Sing a song. Crank it. Can you rewind it a little bit? Like we didn't hear all of it.
Yeah, taser is supposed to last 5 seconds. You know how long I got tased for?
20.
7.
Oh, 2 more seconds.
2 more, dude. That was the longest 7 seconds of my entire life.
So
right there.
It looked like I can't describe it to people at home. Am I able to discuss what it looked like or no?
Yeah, go ahead, describe it
because to me it looked like you got shot with a Nerf gun, and you just like fell over.
Yeah, the tasers do look like they are Nerf guns, but
I thought that they were like wired. Like, aren't there wires on them?
Yeah, but it's what it is. It's like the wires are as thin as a fishing wire is. So like on camera, you can't see them.
Oh, okay. So that whole time, there was, for 7 seconds after that hit your back, there was 7 seconds of pure electricity, like, continually going into your back.
Jolting through my body, yeah.
What did it feel like?
It's really hard to explain what it felt like. It didn't hurt.
Was it like paralysis?
Yeah, it's like I was singing, all right, and then next thing I knew, my entire body just kind of like seized up, and I couldn't move anything, and I could feel the electricity running through my body, and then I was on the ground. Have you
ever played? I don't think you have. Have you ever played the first 2 Infamous games on PlayStation 3?
Like it's hard to explain. It's a feeling that you have to feel to understand.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain it, but it honestly wasn't that bad. I would get tased again in a heartbeat.
So have you ever played the first 2 Infamous games on PlayStation 3?
No.
Okay, so in that game you play as a dude named Cole McGrath who's like delivering a package. There's like a bomb that gets dropped on him or something, and he becomes like, he can shoot electricity out of his hands. I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but
he's a real life taser.
Imagine if when you got tased, like you could control electricity and like shoot it out of your hands.
I mean,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
What would you do with that power? Deploy.
If you're asking if I'd be if you're asking if I'd be a hero or a villain, I'd probably be a villain. So
you'd be a villain.
Sorry about it.
That's too bad. So
I'm
guessing getting
like
pepper sprayed was a lot worse than being tased.
Right. I won't commit crimes, but I'm not gonna help everybody either. So I'll be like an anti-hero.
Yeah. What was getting pepper sprayed worse than being tased?
Yes, getting pepper sprayed was way worse than getting tased. Oh my god.
Okay, I saw on the H3 charity live stream that was like 2 years ago when Justin Roiland pepper sprayed Joey Salads, and I remember how funny that was. Was it how were people laughing after you got sprayed?
Yeah, that's because everybody there that like watched us get it done had it done to them before.
Oh,
so like
were you
they
like the
knew
last
what
one?
it felt. Yeah, I was the last one to go. But no, there was a whole bunch of sergeants watching us and stuff, and they were all laughing because they've had to go through it multiple times.
Why multiple times? What the heck?
Because when you go to a new duty station, if the commander says that you have to get OC sprayed again, you have to do it.
That's just retarded, dude.
Yeah, I know.
What's the point of that? You forgot what pain felt like. Allow me to reintroduce you to it.
I mean, yeah, I don't question it. I'm glad I'm here for 3 years. That's all I'm saying. So for the next 3 years, I am safe from getting OC'd again.
Dude, what if the Trump declares like a national emergency and you get sent down to Mexico and they're like, we need to pepper spray you again?
I'd say frick no.
You'd dart out, be a deserter.
I'd dart out. I'd be gone. I'd be in Canada.
You'd be a draft dodger.
Draft dodger.
Draft dodgers these days.
I mean, I'd have to do it. Yeah, it depends on who tells me.
That's just cruel. Like,
I know it sucks. It really does.
Is the point of getting pepper sprayed to show you like you shouldn't just go around willy-nilly pepper spraying criminals because this is what it feels like when it happens to you? Is it like an empathy thing?
Yeah, it's we get it done so that we know what it feels like and what the other person is feeling like after we spray them.
Well, they fucking deserved it probably.
Yeah, and another part of it is like when you spray it, there's also splashback. So like you could spray it on somebody and you could also accidentally get some in your eyes from the splashback. So that's kind of preparing us for that to happen too. But all that did was I'm saying I'm not carrying OC on when I work the road.
Is that like optional or?
I think so.
Dude, I would take it. Heck yeah.
I'm just gonna carry a taser and I'm not gonna carry pepper spray.
You've seen Paul? Have we talked about Paul Blart on the podcast yet? I feel like we have.
Paul Blart Mall Cop? Yeah, I think so.
We did.
I think it was the first one.
I think that you should look to him for inspiration, honestly. There's that one scene where he shows you how to pull up to a crime scene where you get off you get off your Segway, you put like your left hip out and you put your hand on your right hip to make it look like you have a gun.
Everybody knows you don't have a gun, but
I mean,
you make it look like you have a gun.
You should bring one someday and see what happens. Practical joke.
I mean, I carry a gun anyways, so.
You could?
Yeah, I do.
You do? A live one?
Yeah, I'm a normal cop. I'm not a mall cop. I'm a normal cop.
Honestly,
all I do is.
How old are you? Still 18?
After next week Friday, no.
You're 18 years old, and you have a gun and pepper spray and crap on you.
Yeah. But I'm not allowed to drink.
Yeah, you could.
Me too.
I don't want to give you any ideas, but you could easily take the lives of like hundreds of people if you so desired. But yeah, you can't knock one back with the boys.
I mean, Army policy is Army policy. They let me join at 18, so that's on them.
Do you get to keep the gun after you leave?
No, we turn it into the arms room at the end of the day.
What about,
at the end of our shift.
I think what we should do is, I hope the government isn't listening.
But they probably are.
Let's just say
Big
that
Brother's
they are.
Always watching.
Okay, if you're a government agent, turn off the audio for about 30 seconds, okay? Because we're gonna tell you what you're getting for Christmas, so you don't want to hear that. All right. Plug your ears starting now. So
I think he's gone.
I think they're gone too. So what we should do is, when we move to California, I want you to steal like 20 assault rifles.
What?
And we'll sell them to pay for rent.
Oh, of course.
on the black market.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good way to make cash.
I mean, it would be.
How much do those go for?
There's a lot of drug dealers in California we could sell to, so.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me specifics, but do you actually know things that civilians like aren't allowed to know?
Yeah.
Pertaining to like what, national security or
Yeah.
So are there things that you know right now that I don't know that are very important?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to me after this podcast is over. we'll have a little one-on-one time.
Oh, I bet.
Look at that. We're close to 56 minutes. Can we get this over 1 hour long?
Here we go.
All right. Rapid fire questions. Not really.
All right.
Answer them slow as possible. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Super speed.
And why? Or what would you do?
I want to be like the Flash, man.
You want to be like the Flash, but
Barry Allen.
You would just be a copycat of somebody. You know,
Yeah.
Don't you want to be your own man?
No.
Okay. I don't know what mine would be.
Or I'd just be rich. It's the only superhero. That's the only superpower.
Oh, what was that line from Justice League that never went into the movie? What's your superpower? I'm rich.
It made it into the movie.
It did?
That was actually one of the only trailer scenes that actually made it into the movie.
Joss Whedon.
Those reshoots made me mad.
Henry Cavill's mustache reshoot.
Don't remind me of the CGI.
Dude, honestly, that opening of that movie confuses me to this day. Like, why'd they open it with a shot of Superman outside a building, like, on a camera?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I do not understand.
I don't question Joss. He has no idea what he's doing, so...
Joss. The man who made the Avengers movie in 2012.
He's an idiot.
Was that him?
Zach. Yeah, it was Joss Whedon that did that one. Literally, the entire movie was Joss Whedon. Almost none of that was Zach's.
So I heard that the Batman movie is starting filming later this year.
Yeah, later this year, like November-ish.
Do you think Ben Affleck is going to be Batman?
I keep hearing and seeing things that say that he's not. But until I hear it from the man himself, I'm not going to believe it.
Would you like somebody different? Well, okay, if you had the option to, would you reboot the entire DCEU?
I mean,
I would.
It might be beneficial for them to do that, but it also at this point, because they'd have to. That means Aquaman, Wonder Woman. They wouldn't be canon anymore. So like they'd have to recast everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and Aquaman and Wonder Woman were really good movies. Unless
they do what Marvel did with the Hulk, where they had...
With the Hulk and just recast and pretend nothing happened?
Yeah, exactly. They brought Mark Ruffalo in after that other dude. I forget his name.
I mean, they could do that.
Or they could just keep them.
Or like if they make the Flash movie first... And like
unless they do
Flash screws up
what is it the thing where like they go to a different
change
world?
Batman actors, like because back when all those rumors first came out that that Ben Affleck was leaving the role of Batman and didn't want to do it anymore, like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was in talks of them doing a Flashpoint movie. I was like, yeah, they could work that in the Flashpoint movie, and then when he comes back, like. The actor changed, or they switch it out. That would be the only plausible like reason that they could make in the universe to recast.
Unless they actually kill Superman and Batman, and they just have the Flash, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman doing stuff.
I mean, Henry Cavill's still gonna be Superman.
Yeah, I did see a thing that like he's not hanging up the cape yet.
Yeah, my man confirmed that himself. We just haven't heard anything from Benjamin. saying whether he's gonna keep going or not.
Benjamin Affleck.
I think, but if they do recast, they've got to make it good. They got to bring up the standard. Like they should just bring Christian Bale back. Honestly,
Christian Bale's like that trilogy. Like I think it should just be left alone. Like
Wow.
that was so good. Like they couldn't do anything better.
So good.
And plus, like that was grounded in reality. Like
that really was.
Like in that world, like everything was explained. Like the Scarecrow stuff was neurotoxins. Bane's mask was just a respirator.
and if Heath Ledger wouldn't have died,
Rip.
there would have been one more Dark Knight movie.
I mean, they made The Dark Knight Rises, but you mean one with the Joker?
No, there was gonna be like another one
What
after The Dark Knight Rises.
Huh.
But since Heath Ledger died, they changed it so that Bruce hung up his cape. Just
rest in peace.
Because they were just gonna keep going on with the universe there, the Batman universe.
Really?
There. But then he died, and then they cut it off at Dark Knight Rises.
Wow, that sucks. Huh.
Hey, I mean, I'm not complaining.
I mean, I would have loved to see Heath Ledger's Joker again.
We still got 3 dope movies, so.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense. I mean, I wish Heath Ledger was still alive, because then we wouldn't have Jared Leto as the Joker. So.
Yeah, and that would have been a good thing for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And they're recasting Jared Leto too. He's not the Joker anymore. That came out as soon as Suicide Squad hit.
So that what's that guy's name?
Jaquan.
Is he gonna be the one in? I heard something about a Suicide Squad 2. Would he be the Joker then?
I think so. I'm not. I heard that the Joker solo movie isn't gonna be canon in the DCEU.
So they still could have Jared Leto come back.
They still could, but if they do decide to make that Joker movie canon, then they can be like, "Yo, Jared, you're done." Because
You're done, kid.
Jaquan Phoenix, he looks kind of
like
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, for sure.
The clown paint is a little too well done, but yeah. I mean, I guess in all the set photos that they've let loose, he's not like the actual Joker yet. He's the Joker before he became the Joker. You know.
That clearly makes sense. Yes.
Okay, have you ever seen? Okay, see people who've seen.
You're an uncultured swine.
What's the movie? Shoot, I have it. I gotta remember what it's called.
E.T.
It's one of the animated movies. Give me 2 seconds.
Killing Joke.
Yeah, The Killing Joke. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the one. Holy moly.
How did I know that?
Yeah, where it goes through the Joker's origin through flashbacks and stuff,
mm-hmm.
and how he's like a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
That's not funny. That's from the trailer that they've shown us from the Joker solo movie. That's what that's gonna be. It's gonna be like, it's a Joker origin story, so it's gonna be before he fell in the chemical vat and became the Joker.
Gotcha.
It'll probably, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a really good movie.
Let's go see it together. And I was almost gonna give out your location, but I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. Let's go see it on Pluto together.
All right, deal.
That's where you're stationed, right, Pluto?
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, we're at a minute and. Well, no, we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. We're not at
4 minutes. We did it. We went over an hour.
We did it. Clap.
Yay.
All right.
Yay.
Well,
all right. Nice.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
We had our ups and our downs. I don't even remember what this was supposed to be about again, but
it was about the divorce between Activision and Bungie,
and we went from that
on to superheroes at the very end.
We somehow
so if you made it this far into the podcast,
what are you doing?
Thank you from
from the bottom of our hearts.
And I hope you enjoyed us talking about superheroes.
You get some free merch. Just
yeah,
kidding.
you get some free merch, bro. We
Free
got some. We got an I'm pissed shirt, and we got Brock the Mediterranean.
Brock the Mediterranean as a shirt.
It's probably the most beautiful YouTuber merch that you will ever see in your entire life.
Better than Maverick brand.
Yeah. Logan Paul.
There's Maverick and then there's Mediterranean.
Would you rather be a Mediterranean
or Maverick? That's another
right.
podcast topic.
You'd rather be Mediterranean.
I would rather be Mediterranean is right. All right.
That's gonna be another thing of merch. We're gonna make that shirt right now. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. We'll get right on that, guys.
Thank you all again for coming this far into the podcast and listening.
Yeah. Take care,
we
guys.
appreciate it. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how you got here if you're not subscribed to it, but just go do it.
Do it. Still playing through God of War.
And we'll catch you next week with podcast round 2. So
let's do it.
Bye-bye.